There's a starman.
Marie Antoinette's version.
Hello family, friends, and whoever else is going to be watching this video. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about what it's like to work in the food business. If you've ever worked in the food business, then you know that it is fast-paced, it is chaotic, whether it's dealing with customers or dealing with your coworkers. There's just a lot of things going on, high-pressure situations, and it is just craziness. I worked at a pizzeria for 10 months as my first job, and that was my only glimpse into the food business, and I could tell you I would never go back to it again personally, but a lot of props to the people who do work in the food business as a career. I asked on my Instagram story for you guys to send me stories about your experience working in the food industry, and that is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be reading them out loud and anonymously, and we are going to be discussing them. So let's just jump right in. Okay, first story. I was working at Subway, and we had a promo where it was buy two, get one of the same value free. Dude came in and got hella extra meat on his third sandwich and was heated it wasn't free and got charged for the meat. He had already paid with his card and wasn't paying attention and wasn't getting a refund. He cursed me out and left without the subs. My parents and I got free food. This is what I'm talking about when I say that customers sometimes come into places and they just don't use their brain.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
What did he expect? If you add extra meat to the sandwich, obviously it's not the same value. So you are going to get charged for whatever you got extra on that sandwich. The fact that he left the subs is just the icing on the cake, because he bought 3 sandwiches and he didn't even get to eat them. He didn't even bring them with him. He just wasted his money for what? Subway, eat fresh, am I right? I was a bartender for a Sweet 16, and there was a bunch of kids drunk because they snuck in alcohol. They were stashing it in the push-up ceiling in the bathroom and would stand on the sink to get it. Next thing I know, there's water coming out from under the wall because the bathroom and where I was were separated by a wall. They broke the sink and flooded the bathroom. They also peed in the soap dispensers. I quit. Imagine you're at a Sweet 16, or imagine you're an older adult at the Sweet 16 for like your niece or something, and you're having a good time. You see a bunch of crazy teenagers there dancing, and then you look and it's like, oh no, there's water on the floor coming underneath the wall. It's about to be Titanic up in here. It's flooding. Absolutely disgusting. I wonder if they had to pay for like the damages of the ceiling in the bathroom. And then peeing in the soap dispensers? I don't understand how they didn't get caught. Was there no grown adult that walked into the bathroom while they were doing this mischief? Climbing on the sink, putting in alcohol in the push-up ceiling, and then peeing in the soap dispenser. That's disgusting. When I was 16 years old, I didn't get into stuff like that. I was not underage drinking. I wasn't damaging property. The poor sink. If they wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, they would have asked a cool grown adult, hey, go to the bar and order me a drink and just casually bring it to me. I do not condone underage drinking. That was a joke. Don't do that. But I don't think standing on a sink and putting your alcohol that you snuck in somewhere in a ceiling is the right way to go about it. At my first job in the city, I was training with a banquet pastry cook on how they sliced the cakes before assembling. She was going to show me how they cut the layers of cake using a serrated knife, but since they make all cakes in advance and freeze them, she didn't realize the cake was still somewhat frozen in the center, and she pushed the knife horizontally with her right hand while her left hand was holding the side of the cake in place, and the knife slipped and went into her left hand. We had to throw the cake out, break down, sanitize the station since there was blood everywhere, and she had to go directly to urgent care and got a whole bunch of stitches and ended up with severe nerve damage in her left hand.
You guys don't.
Wow. Imagine you're dealing with, making something that somebody ordered and you cut yourself and all of your blood just ends up all over it. And then she got nerve damage from it.
Ended up taking her position.
Oh my god, really?
It wasn't
Oh my god. I mean, I hope she's okay wherever she is now. If she's was ever able to make things again, who knows? I don't know.
It's okay, Julia. You did a great job.
Shout out to Julia, being a trooper. Oh my god. Julia's out here walking around New York City with severe nerve damage. I was lead pastry cook at a restaurant and was tag teamed with a new employee, showing her how to prep bananas for our banana foster. Since the first step is to make the caramel, the pot was dangerously hot and the caramel was done. And while I was explaining the second step and adding the bananas to the caramel at the same time, I didn't realize that my arm was resting on the side of the pot and was literally melting my skin. She looked at me without realizing, and I quickly asked her to go get the container that we were going to put the finished product in. And while she walked away, I carefully peeled my arm off the rim of the pot, screamed and cried on the inside like a wiener?
Winner!
Like a winner! And wrapped a wet paper towel and plastic wrap around it before she came back. I am not built for the cook life. I cannot handle pain. Any tiny little inconvenience that happens on my skin or bumps or bruises, I'm a baby. I could not handle that. So, peeling off flesh. No, that's absolutely disgusting. I've been burned from working at the pizzeria. I was too short to reach the top of an oven, which the oven was where we would put like the food whenever it was done and it was waiting to get picked up or brought out for delivery. We would leave it up on top of the oven, but I was too short to reach up there. So one day somebody put something like right in the middle and my arm rested on top of the oven and I literally heard my skin go tss, and I sat in the back of the kitchen crying with the big Italian chef that was back there, and he was just holding a tomato slice against my burn because apparently tomato slices are good for when you have a burn on your skin. But I was sitting there like, and Big Tony was just holding the tomato slice on my arm. So like I said, I worked at a pizzeria as my first job. My mom literally got me that job just by ordering pizza, and the owner of the pizzeria came to deliver it, and she asked him, "Hey, are you hiring?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she turned to me and she went, "Hey, I just got you a job." I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be working at a pizzeria now. I was the phone girl, as I'm sure you could assume. This place was not the cleanest. Literally, ceiling fans had probably like a 2-inch thick layer of dust on top of them. Floors, sticky, gross, disgusting. But there was one day, I was sitting behind the counter and it was slow. So I was sitting there watching TV and I hear movement going on behind me. So I look and it's my boss, and it was just me and him that day. It was, like I said, it was slow. It was just me and him in the pizzeria. So he was cooking in the kitchen and, you know, at the pizza station, he was making everything. He came in and he was, you know, flipping some wings in the sauce in the to-go container. Like, the wings were already pretty much done. He just had to put a top on and they were good to go. So he was flipping them in the sauce, and one of the wings, I guess, grew the rest of a bird body and flew out of the container and landed on the floor, and we both went like this. We looked at the wing and looked at each other, and he picked it up, maintaining eye contact with me, and he put it back in the container, and he said, "You didn't see anything." And he walked back, and I watched him put the lid of the container on, throw it in a bag, and put it on the oven, waiting to get delivered. And I was like, huh, somebody's gonna have greasy pizzeria floor gunk on their chicken, and you know what? I'm sure it's gonna be the best wing that they've ever eaten in their entire life. I made the conscious decision that day to never eat or order anything from that pizzeria ever again, even though I continued to work there for several months. Another story I have from the pizzeria is one of my responsibilities was to maintain the stuff in the freezer and the fridge that was in the front, like the drinks, and we also sold like these little cheesecake slices. So every once in a while I would have to check the cheesecake slices, make sure that they were good, refill the cheesecake slices that were out. So one day I opened the fridge and the very first cheesecake slice, it was a strawberry cheesecake slice, it was growing mold. So I was like, that's disgusting. So I took it out and I threw it out. And my boss runs in because he sees me do it and he's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing? There's mold on it. We can't sell this. And so he goes into the refrigerator and grabs another slice, and that slice had mold on it too. And he said, I'm going to show you something. So then he puts it on the counter, takes a plastic knife, and cuts the very first top layer of that cake right off. The layer that had mold on it, he cut it off, and he threw it out. He closed the little container that the cheesecake was in, and he put it back in the fridge. He goes, the top layer is the only layer that had mold on it, so it's good. He said, you put it right up in front, so that's the first one that, somebody who wants cheesecake just grabs it and goes, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. I looked at this man like he was crazy. I was like, in my head, of course, because this man, he kind of scared me, so I didn't want to talk back to him. I was just like, okay. But in my head, I was like, you are going to get people sick. I am surprised that this place is still in business. Mind you, this is only 2 stories that I have from this place. I got more. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear more stories from this place. I like I said, I just don't know how they're still in business. They're still in business today. I don't order from them at all. I have been very stern with my family to not order from there. My dad still orders from there just because that's the only place nearby that gives him tortellini alfredo. He's a whore for tortellini alfredo. He loves it. I will never eat at that place again. That's all the stories that I have for today. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below of what else you'd like to see me do on this channel. And if you have any stories about what it's like to work in the food industry, you can also comment those down below. Maybe I'll make a part 2, because I kind of like this series, what it's like to work in retail, what it's like to work in the food business. I kind of want to keep this going because it's pretty fun. I'll see you guys on the next one, I guess.